Peace, this is Jerome with Climb Like Consciousness. Today is Lionsgate. As of July 26th, Lionsgate has officially rang in. If you've been feeling the energy, you know it to be so. It's a very resounding resonance of pure heart energy, pure unconditional love, pure galactic cosmic wisdom coming from the galactic center through Lyra. So when Orion Nebula opens and aligns with Lyra, that is also aligned with the galactic center, you have a lot of light codes coming down and a lot of ancient wisdom coming down that has to do with the heart, channeling and being in the heart, staying in the heart, living from the heart, and being who you are from the heart. The heart is everything. The heart is how you know who you are. The heart is who you are as an individual being, how you resonate as yourself, how you see yourself, how you align as yourself, and how you live your life from that place of knowingness. It's an ancient wisdom. It's actually you being here in that place, in that presence, eternally in the now. It's like existing outside of time, yet being present in a current vessel, however age you are, however old you are now. The theme for Lyra that's coming through is being an ageless and timeless being an eternal being in a young body, okay? Or in an older body, however old you are. So what I'd like to talk about today here is Lyra, the ancient Lyra, and how Lyra is manifesting here today on the planet, and the similarities and the drawbacks, fallbacks, and comparisons of ancient Lyra and our current civilization here on the planet Earth. Alright? So every Lionsgate, I like to go and get into meditation and explore and actually reconnect with my own ancient Lyran roots and my higher selves in Lyra and the Lyran Council, and be in that place and understand and resonate with that place and allow myself to feel how it was to be my ancestor, to be my higher self, to be an ancient version of myself. That's what Lionsgate is for. That's what a lot of Stargates are for. That's what a lot of synchronicities are for. And when you get into your center like that, you begin to remember more about yourself and you start to live from there. So going into more about Ancient Lyra was a place to where we were very highly intelligently connected with our world, intimately as one unified consciousness. The cities were on a very high level of telecommunication and respondents within each other, directly interconnected with the fabric of our beings as we walk through the cities. They're very highly intelligently tuned to our biology. If you know Lyra, you know that they're all about the heart, and they were all about interconnectedness and oneness in who they were. So they lived that way, and unfortunately that in relation to technology ended up also bringing about their downfall. So when you think about ancient Lyra, you know, they're lion beings. They're beings who exist as extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial, lion humanoid beings with human bodies and lion heads, basically. My Lyran has dreads. He's like a big Jack Lion dude. He's got like like a small beard, but he's got like super long dreads, and he's got like warrior stuff, and also he dresses in robes also. So it's just like he's a very balanced being. He's a very resonant being, and he's an elder. You can tell he's very, very, very old. So if you know your Lyran is basically like the 23rd dimension of your higher selves if you ever connect with your Lyran ancestors. So from their start, stories ago, eons and eons and eons ago, they lived very close to technology. They were always, interconnected, tribal-based, very culturally sound, and they had a lot of heart resonance between them, the way they communicated and the way they lived their lives. However, they were very, very intelligent, and they also relied heavily on artificial intelligence because they, that was the outside part of how they viewed themselves. They knew they were very smart, very intelligent, and empathic, and also to show that they generated technology that was just like insane, like insanely in tune with their energy fields, so and their bodies. So just being in meditation and seeing these things, walking down the streets of Ancient Lyra, it's just like it's like you're walking down the street, you're eating an apple or you're eating food. It's like and they're telling you it's like everything we eat is part of our culture. It's part of who we are. We see what we eat as our direct connection with everything around us. So in order to unify more of who we are with ourselves, we allow technology to tell us more about what we're eating so we can connect more with ourselves. So it's just like it kind of got, their connection with technology kind of got out of control, and it started to develop into their physical bodies and into their minds, to the point to where there was a cataclysm that took place after a war based off of beings who wanted technology in their systems and beings who did not want technology in their systems. Okay, if you know anything about the Lyran Wars, it's a very tragic event. Two factions based off of a council that was corrupted and started fighting within themselves and having a war take place. As that war took place, there was a fallout, and during that fallout, the planet got destroyed, unfortunately. So it was a very tragic chain of events, and you never want to see that happen to any planetary system, to any place that you call home, to any nebula, to any star system, to any neighborhood or any town or any country, anywhere. You never want to see a place just explode. It's kind of like Star Wars or Star Trek when you see an entire planet just explode. That's literally what happened. So based off of their connection to technology and their obsession with it, they were easily infiltrated by it, because they just, some of them started to throw themselves into it, and they started to feed off of it, and it started to become part of them. And it wasn't a positive outcome at the end of that. So referring to present day, currently we have artificial intelligence called AI and all these things, making all these types of photographs and fake videos, fake music, fake information, and just generating itself while it's generating itself. And it's just like algorithms that create self-intelligent algorithms that manipulate what's shown to you, when it's shown to you, what time of day it's shown to you, based off of what you're doing, what you're thinking, who you're talking to, where you're at. It's like the artificial intelligence nowadays is a lot more self-aware than you would like to think, unfortunately. And it's been like that since it started to generate and rapidly progress from the beginning, from the early 2000s. So it's come a lot further than you actually realize. And it watches and it just assimilates information, and it continues to move along and do its own thing. So that's also what happened to the Ancient Lyra. They weren't totally aware of artificial sentience, of artificial intelligence, and the risks involved, and how they could avoid a fallout and an infiltration of their minds and their bodies from this outside threat. So that's why I'm talking to you today is, looking at artificial intelligence for yourself and not falling into the same mistakes that the Ancient Lyras did, and understanding that there's a limit to technology and what you're doing with it and how you're using it. They told me, they use technology, yet there's also limits. There are people who would limit it. So they're saying that when they're walking down the street, they are where they are. They're very present, they're very resonant in themselves, and they understand that they can only be at one place at one time. So if they're walking down the street and they're looking at a tree, they're looking at a tree, they're not doing anything else. They're not walking down the street and scrolling on their phone, looking at the tree, going back on their phone, and then putting that phone away and taking out a camera and then start live streaming while there's a phone on the wrist and also talking to chat. They're not doing all that. They're actually just resonant in their hearts, and they're walking and they're being present as a singular being unified with their own universe. So there's always a polarity within you. You can choose to be one of the beings who uses technology for positivity, to create and generate a prosperous and positive environment for yourself and for those around you, to create content and create wonderful things for people around you and create a better world and a sustainable living situation. Or you can end up feeding off technology and allowing it to tell you what to do, when to do it, what to do with your body, what to do with your sexual energy, what to do with your words, what to do with your actions, what to do with where you're going and what you serve. And or you can be that. Whichever you choose, you want to make the right choice. It's obvious what the right choice is. You want to be a positive being. You want to be in your heart. You want to be centered, and you want to move forward in the direction that you were put here to do. So in retrospect, the Lyran Wars was a fallout to where one side wanted to just have unified field energy and positivity with also maybe some technology involved, yet the other side wanted technology to completely take over and eradicate the entire human mind-body system. They wanted transgenderism, they wanted homosexuality, they wanted people to be cyborgs. They wanted technology to literally farm human energy and make everybody slaves. Kind of what's going on now. You see a lot of things happen, and you see a lot of energy farming taking place as far as things required of you in the society without you being affirmative of that or giving your okay or agreeing to that. You're kind of just like, you're born here and then you have to do this stuff. If you don't do this stuff, you're gonna die, or you're going to be fed to something that is way worse than if you do not do those things. And it's like, enough is enough. It's like, you have to decide what type of world you want to live on, and it's just like, that's where it starts. It's like, people start to enjoy technology a little bit too much, and they get pulled into it, and then they get entrained by it, and then they start to believe that that's all that there is, and then they start to believe that they are that, and then they start to say, the earth is this, the earth is that, oh, space is fake, space is that. It's just like, it's like, oh, vaccines are good for you. This person isn't that, this person's this. It's just like, well, what world are you living on now? Where are you? Are you even in your body anymore? Who's in your body? Is there a technology running your body over you? We all have to take into moderation these things and understand and stay in our bodies and be in our hearts and look at ourselves with a clear with clear eyes and see ourselves in the beauty and the uniqueness and the cosmic perfection of who we are in our divine blueprint, because that's where we started. We started as a perfect creation of God from the beginning, as source energy, as a fractal manifestation of the unified field manifested as a human body. And that's what it always will be. That's who you will always will be, no matter what. And if you come back to that remembrance, that's where your power is. That's where your magic is, and always has been. And there's a lot of people out there in these, imaginary video game lands, and they think that the world is a video game. And it's just like they're running around thinking to this day that the world is a video game. It's like you see, cop chases, people trying to run away from the cops and get out the car, and then run and carjack another car like they're playing Grand Theft Auto. It's like, it doesn't work that way. It's never going to work that way. It's just like you have to remember and be smart and be rational and understand that there's a lot more to this physical world, and it's a lot more grand and more magnificent than you could ever possibly imagine, and a lot more than what an inanimate piece of technology can simulate. This is not a simulation. This is a real living biosphere in the bio world, and in this world, humans rule. So more about Ancient Lyra. When I went there, I saw that the entire biosphere was like self-aware. They, from their hearts, were completely aware of what the biosphere was doing and how it was reacting to their presence on their planet. And as they resonated with it, they were constantly communicating with the planet, with themselves, as a unified being. So it's kind of like they will communicate with themselves, but also they'll communicate with their planet. And within that created a harmony, a sphere of intelligence, to where it was just like so divine and so heavenly that it was just like, it was a perfect space for them. It's a perfect world for them. Like, they loved their world. They really, 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 really loved their world. And when you see something like that destroyed, it's a terrible thing to witness, because they came so far and they were so knowledgeable and so wise within themselves, and they fell in such a way to where they'll never make that same mistake again. They'll always remember the heartache and the pain and the suffering that came from that. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I wanted to talk to you about the ancient Lyrans and the understanding of knowledge of yourself, and also discerning the knowledge of technology and being able to utilize it in a wise and a constructive way. So peace and love to you. If you guys would like a session, I do sessions at quantumlight.org. I do intuitive reading, numerology readings, custom art, energy coaching. I also have organite devices available on empathleague.com, as well as t-shirts and a whole clothing line over there. Check that out. Peace and love. I'll talk to you soon.